mathematical literacy, June 2024. This goes to grade 4. All right. Go straight to question number 1. All right, we look at question number 1. Social media is a collective term for websites and applications, apps that focus on communication, community-based input, interaction, content sharing, and collaboration. People use social media to stay in touch and interact with friends, family, and various communities. The graph below shows the different social medias that we have and their percentages, the usage. All right, here we go. Question number 1. Identify the type of graph indicated above. Identify the type of graph indicated above. Someone would have said it could be, yes, the first answer is supposed to be, yeah, it's a bar graph. A bar graph. Some other people said it's a vertical. It's a vertical bar graph, which is okay. Vertical bar graph. All right, we go to question number 1.1.2. Name the social media platform that is the least popular. The least popular, we shall use the percentages that we see here. Which one has the lowest percentage? When we see all of them, we have a 72, 42, 63, 30, 35, and 74. So this 30, it's the least, and we shall call it the snapshot. Snapchat. All right, determine the percentage of Instagram users. Determine the percentage of Instagram users. We are determining, actually, it's just, you just have to identify it's this one here. Instagram, it's this one, and the percentage is 63%. Come down here, write it. Remember, they said determine the percentage. They didn't say determine the number of people. Okay, there are 10 million users daily on social media platforms. Calculate how many users are on TikTok daily. So we shall go identify the percentage for TikTok, which is 35%. You shall come down here and we say 35% times the 10 million. Don't worry, leave the way it is, but don't forget the word million. So your final answer will become 3.5 million. You don't need to expand the question. All you have to do, you write the word million at the end. I know some people did this, which is also fine. 35% times, when you turn the 10 million, this means the 10 million, it will have 7 zeros. So we shall have the 10 itself, and we shall put on 6 zeros because we are looking at million. So you ended up having the answer as 3,500,000. Don't worry. Sorry, don't forget this. They said these are what? Users. Okay. 1.2. When buying a car, the generally accepted rule of thumb is that you should not spend more than 20% of your total income on a car payment. Mr. Glenn is looking at his dream car, a Golf GTI 2023 model. Mr. Glenn earns a monthly gross salary of 68,000. So these are the details that we have here already. We shall use the table. The price of the car is calculated as follows. So if you were to take it cash, you have to pay this much. But then if you were to take it and you're paying monthly installments, you need to look at these other options, and these are what you go through. They're telling us, write down the estimated repayment value out in words. Write down the estimated repayment value. We want it in words. So we come here, total estimated repayment. It's this much. total. Okay, so we shall say it's now the easiest way is to put it into. So this one has 6 values after it. That means it qualifies to become a million. So we shall write here and we say 1 million. And this one inside here becomes 200 and 6,000 because they have 3 values after 6,000, 700, 711. All right. Choose the correct answer from the point below, from the options below. Write only the letter A to D as an answer. The correct definition of interest rate, is the money paid on the borrowed amount. Interest rate. Remember, this in A, this would have called it what? It's the interest. It's not the interest rate. Interest rate, because of this word, interest rate has to be what? A percentage. That's why you see here on the table here, this is the estimated interest rate, and it's what? A percentage. So in the definition, you would be looking for a percentage. All right. The price to be paid, the price you pay to borrow money. This one could have been deposit. The price you pay before you borrow money, yes. The amount you pay back, that's the original amount you borrowed plus a certain percentage of the loan amount as interest. Because here we look at the amount you pay back. Now this will be the repayment amount. Can't be interest rate. Then here the total amount in rands you pay back for a loan. Also, this is the payback. So I would have taken C, but here there's no clear answer because I was looking for it's a percentage at which interest is generated. So I'm taking C because I've seen the word percentage, but it's not a clear word here. Okay, 1.2.3. Calculate 20% of Mr. Klein's monthly gross salary. 20% of Mr. Klein's. Remember, he earned 68,000. So 20% is the same as 0.2 times the 68,000. And you ended up having your answer as 68,000. You ended up having your answer as you have the answers 13,000, 13,600. Someone else, the person who did this also, you're right. You would just take the value there. You still get the same answer. What is the original selling price of the car without interest? Now that's what we shall look at, and we shall say it's this money here that we need. The retail price without interest is this much. This money without interest is this much. So you shall say 800. It's 834,900. That's the selling price without interest. They're asking us to determine the value of A, which is the total amount of interest payable on GTI. So now the interest, how are you going to get the interest? Remember, interest, if the person paid cash, they could not have interest. But interest comes from the repayment that you're supposed to make minus the cash money. So we go up here and we shall say It's going to be the total estimated repayment, which is this much, 1,206,711 minus the cash money. So we are going to do that now, and we find out, we say 1 million minus, what are we looking for? We are looking for the total interest payable. Total interest payable, and we ended up having 371,811. This is the interest amount. Write down the repayment period in years. When we check on our table here, we find out that repayment period is 72 months. How do we know it's months? They have told us repayment period in the months. Look at that. They are 72. So if they are 72, first we shall come down here. We need them to become years. 72 divided by 12. And the answer becomes 6 years. We look at question number 2. Question number 2 needed your concentration so high. It's fine. Let's look at it. Mr. Randy Ford moved from USA to South Africa and was appointed as an head of Department for Mathematical Literacy and Mathematics at Zondoli Zunol High School in Johannesburg. Below is an extract of his payslip. Right, this is how the payslip is. Okay. They're telling us use the slip above and answer the questions that follow. Explain the meaning of PAYE, payee, as seen in the context of the salary slip above. So now it's a first and foremost, you see it as what? Tax. This is Republic of South Africa. Then this stands for pay as you earn. But in this context, we are looking at it as tax paid on his earnings. Tax paid on his earnings. In this context, they didn't say elaborate, or they didn't say what does payee stand for, but they said what's the meaning of payee in this context. Me means tax paid on his earnings. Okay. Show by means of calculations how the gross income of 41,072 rand 13 cents has been determined. So gross, all you know about gross, it's that we add up all the income. That's what's meant by gross. So we shall come to this other side here, and we add these two values. When we add these two values, we get 39,380.75 plus 1,691.38. And indeed, you'll get the answer as 41,072 rands, 13 cents. That's how they got the answer. I was trying to answer this. Okay. 2.1.3. Calculate the missing value A, which represents the total deductions. This is also straightforward. Total deductions, all we need to do is to add up the deductions. We shall go to the side of the deductions. The deductions are these ones here. But we add these values. We add these values here. We are adding the 8,496.32 cents plus 1,701 rand plus 15,250. We get the value of A as, so the value of A here will become, we said we add everything here because you're looking at A, and when I add everything there, I've got this much, 25,447 rands, 32 cents. This is the value of A. Okay, we continue and we look at the other question that says, Mr. Ford informed his wife that he will have a net salary of 15,625 rand 81 cents. Verify showing all calculations whether Mr. Ford is correct. Write the formula for calculating the net salary to assist you in your calculations. Now remember, take note where you're getting the 3 marks from. They have told you write the formula for calculating net salary. Then we said net salary is the payment after deductions. That means you get your gross minus the deductions. Minus the deductions. So remember we got the gross up there, which was the gross, we got it as 41,000. Sorry, we got 41,072 rands. So we shall say 41,072 rands, 13 or 13 cents minus the deductions, the total deduction, which we just got as 25,000. We shall be writing the 25,447.32 cents. What answer do you end up having? We shall end up having the answer as yes, he claims to pay, yes, and the claim is what? Don't forget, you say it's what? It's correct, or you can say it's valid, because you're saying verify verify with calculations whether Mr. Ford is correct. So you need to end up saying it's correct if your answer matches his claim. Okay, calculate what percentage is paid by an employee towards medical aid. Round off your answer to the nearest percentage. Take note, we are looking at percentage. And as we look at percentage, we need a formula. We need a fraction. A fraction which is a numerator divided by a denominator times 100. Now, what's the numerator? The numerator is going to be the medical aid. Shall go to the slip. How much is the medical aid? We take this value here. 1,701. 1,701. 1,701 over the denominator, which is the gross salary. And remember, we got it as 41,000 72 cents, 30. So we multiply by 100. So you do that for me. You do that for me. Multiply by 100, you end up having 4,14, but they say to the nearest percentage, which is 4%, which is 4%. One of the major sources of revenue for the government is personal income tax. Mr. Ford does extra work after hours, not necessarily shown on his salary adverse, and submits his tax returns via SARS if filing. Next year A shows an extract of Mr. Ford's e-filing calculations. Now we go, and they are telling us 2.2.1, determine the total amount of income assessed by South African Revenue Services for Mr. Ford's after all allowances and extra remunerations have been considered. Use annexure A to answer the questions. All right, let's go to annexure A. Annexure A is here. This is how it looks like. So we're looking at income after, so which is this much. This will be the income that we are looking at. The income that we are looking at. Income will be 433,000 and 64 rands. Use annexure A to identify Mr. Ford's taxable income after assessment calculations. To identify, so taxable income, it's this one. You look at that, because after, because these are the amounts assessed, the deductions. So after everything is what? Everything there is after. Everything there is what? It's after. So the taxable income here is going to be this much money. The 585,797 rands. We shall say it's 583,700. Right, then we go question 6. It says the e-filing calculation, so the next year it shows the value of 4,163 rand 70 cents as the calculated result. Show by means of calculations how the amount was calculated and explain whether this amount is to be paid to sales or if this amount should be paid to Mr. Ford. So what we're going to look at, let's look at that. We have values that you see here. We have a subtotal. This is after the taxation, and they have done all the calculations. The employees' tax and tax credits. Here we are. And the calculated results. This is it. So calculated results. So how was this very good? They took this minus this. The subtotal of this payment and the employees' tax credits and what he would have, what was charged of him. So the 4,000, it's supposed to be is. The value was go to buy, subtracting the subtotal minus the employee what? Tax and credits, tax credits. So which was you remember it, it's 1 million, no, 133,571.92 minus the taxes. Subtract that and you find out 2.2.4. According to the assessment done on e-filing, it's apparent that Mr. Ford needs to pay 96 rands 92 cents on his taxable income before rebates. Make use of the tax table for 2023 on Annexure B and verify this amount. It's correct already. We're looking at this. He needs to pay. This is the tax to be paid. So simply meaning we need the taxable income. So we shall take the taxable income, which is this one here. Taxable income on Annexure A. We shall use this taxable income that we got here already. This is what we're going to use. And we first and foremost, we have to find out which bracket does it belong to. In which bracket does it belong to? That's what. Which bracket does it belong to? We shall go straight there. Let's go to bracket number B. We said the taxable income is using 583,797. It's a taxable income. It's already annual. We are picking it from here. This is the taxable income, so we shall come use there. Now we are calculating tax. First and foremost, we find out which bracket does it belong to. It's 583. So this is 600, this is 400, so it belongs to this bracket. What shall we do? We shall write this from here down. So we shall say 115,762 rands plus 36%, which is the same as 0.06 into brackets, taxable income above that. Now, this is when we bring in the money that we are calculating on. So we shall bring it inside here. Minus the money they have found inside the bracket. Remember, we are using this bracket here. So we subtract this money. So we go on and you say, actually at this moment you can put it into your calculator. Times, what answer do you get when you subtract these two in the brackets? You get 95,097 rands. Put everything in a calculator now at the moment. 115,762 plus 36% into brackets 583 83 minus 488. Indeed, you end up having end up having 149,996 and 92. This is what they wanted us to prove. This is what they wanted us to prove. This is question. This was question 2.2.4. 2.2.4. 2.2.4. We ended up having this answer here. So we've proven it, and we are saying, they are saying, verify whether the amount is correctly calculated. Yes, it is. It is correctly. Actually, what? Calculated. Mr. Ford is a homeowner and receives a monthly water bill. The city of Ekurhuleni will provide free basic wastewater services per month. The following rates will be applied. Number of residential units times. Okay. Okay. Determine the tariff in rand per kiloliter for 15 kiloliters of usage of water per month. Now, it's not 15 as such, because here you come and say they're telling us 2023, 2024, which means we are looking at this side here. So 15 it ends here. But over this 15 we have the first, because now here we say whenever we see a table like this, we shall always scrutinize so we get out the maximum for each bracket. So this is from 0 to 6. These are 6 kiloliters. So we said we ignore this left-hand side. We rather continue with the right hand. How do we continue? So to find out the maximum kiloliters in this bracket, I take 15 minus 6. So here there were 9. And indeed, these are the only two that make what? Because 6 plus 9, you get what? 15. So 15 kiloliters usage per month. So we shall find out to say, if there are 6, it will be 6 times 18,12 plus the 9 times 29. So this is how much you spend with the 15 kiloliters. But they're asking to define the tariff in rands per kiloliter. So everything here we divide by 15. Get the answer there. We shall end up having 6 times 18,12 plus 9 times 29,86. We have the answers 377 rands. So we divide this by 15, which is approximately 25 per 25 per 25 per kiloliter. We are looking for the tariff in rands. Because if 15 kiloliters, there's no direct 15 here. There's no direct 15. Okay. 2.3.2. Look at the percentage increase for water tariff from 2023 to 2024 if the household uses approximately 30 kiloliters of water per month. What we are going to do, we need to substitute into this. We have to go and identify the values for 30 kiloliters per month. Okay, here now it's fine. You can take this as you see this 30 kiloliters per month. So we are taking these values here This we substitute into the formula. So we're looking at 36,58 minus 36,58 minus 32,66 divided by the one for 2023, which is 32,66 times 100. Do that for me. What other answer? What answer do you end up having? You'll end up having 12. You end up having 12. You'll end up having 12. Okay. 2.2.3. 2.3.2. Sorry, 2.3.3. Mr. Ford made a comment in 2023 after calculating the percentage increase as indicated that he will pay 300 more for using 35 kiloliters of water in 2024. Verify his statement by showing calculations. Now, here we shall need to split, or we shall need to put this 35 kiloliters into simple brackets. Remember, we shall come back to our table here. Allow me, I will do it from this side here. Yes, shall do it. Let's do it here. I want to do it next to the table in that you understand what you're dealing with. All right, here we go. So this is the year 2023, and this is the year 2024. He claims he's going to use more, 300 more. But how shall we find out this? We need to find out, because we need to subtract the money he used in 2023, subtracted from the money he used in 2024. There's a subtraction here. If the money is 300 more, then we shall take, actually, if the answer becomes 300, then it's valid. But how are we going to do this? Remember, the person is going to use 35 kiloliters. Of the first 35, the 6 have come here, the 9 have gone there. Here we have 15 minus 30 minus 15, you get 15. And when you add these are 30 kiloliters. So remaining with the 5 kiloliters. All right. So this is what we're going to deal with. So in 2023, we shall say 2023, let's calculate, and we say 2023, we shall say the 6 times 16,18, the 9 times the 26,66. I'm looking for the money that's spent in 2023. So 15 kiloliters, here they were charged 32,66. And the 5 kiloliters, we are charged, they belong to this bracket here, 40,64. Add up this money here for 2023. Calculate and you add up. So 6 times 16,18 plus 9 times 26,66 plus 15 times 32,66 plus 5 times 40,64. So we end up having the answer as 1,030 rands and 12 what? 12 cents. This is just the money there. And remember this, okay, all the tariffs, okay, it already includes VAT. This is for 2023. So now we need to calculate we need to do the same, and we get for 2024. 2024, allow me, I will use this other side here, but still the same unit. So in 2024, it will become 6 times 18, 12. Here we have a 9 times 29,86 we come to this 15 here times 36, comma, then we end up with a 5, which is so we also get the money there. How much do they get? When you do everything here, you end up having 1,100. Sorry, 1,153 rands, 76 cents. So we're going to subtract now. This is 2024. So this was 2023. So we need to subtract the two values and find out the answer there. We need to subtract the two values. So when you subtract the two values now, we are going to see we're subtracting the two values now. So which will become 1,153. This is the money from 2024 minus the money we end up having 123 rands 64 cents. It does not make 300. So the statement is what? It's invalid. Remember, we are doing question number. These calculations here for question number 2.3.3. 2.3. So you had to look for the water payment, 2023 water payment. We are doing this question here. We look at question number 3, data handling. With its 4th Rugby World Cup victory, South Africa stands at the top of the ranking list. Commitment to the cause, confidence to do a job, believe in the system. This is the South African way. It has won South Africa the 2023 Men's Rugby World Cup. Those were statements made. Okay. Annexure C. Annexure C shows the height of an average South African men and the rugby players with their position in the team as well as their respective heights. Use annexure C and answer the questions that follow. 3.1.1. We look at annexure C. So it looks like it was supposed to be like this. Okay, fine. It's annexure C. That's what you're going to use. We got question number 3.1.1. Determine the height range. Take note of that. Determine the height range. Range, whenever you hear range, what has to come in your head? Range equals to the maximum value minus the minimum value. The range with regard to the rugby players used in this set of data. We go there and you see this is not a set of data. We are looking at this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we are looking for range. So range, we shall say highest value minus lowest value. Of these values here, which one is the highest? It's 2.6. 2.06 minus the lowest, which was 1.7. So 2.06 minus 1.7, we end up having 0.3. Don't forget, these are centimeters. These are, these are centimeters. Yeah, these are supposed to be meters. There's a mistake that was made there. These are supposed to be meters. Because all of them are meters, 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 meters. We can't have someone having 17. And you can't have someone having because if you to change this in meters to meters, it will give you 0.017 meters, which is not all right. This was a mistake here. All right, leave it like that and we continue. So we shall say we've got the body there as -1 comma, and the answer became meters. All right, the average height of a South African rugby player is 1.86 meters average. Okay, use the following formula to determine the total height in meters of 15 players. Take note, once you're given the formula, please take your time, read and understand. Now, they have given you the average height, which simply means it's the mean. It's this much. So mean is given to us. So where you see mean, you put that value, which is 1.86 equals, use the following formula to determine the total height. So total height is missing. We shall leave it as let's leave it as Q. So it's Q over total number of players. The total number of players are these ones, 15. So we do this. And we are doing this, you understand what is going on. But we're looking for Q. So apply an invisible one, cross multiply. The Q multiplies with the 1.86 times the number of players. Come to this much. And the answer became 27.9. Remember, you're looking at the total height. Once you're given a formula, please understand or substitute correctly. Don't rush to give answers. You might find people putting here putting it here, yet the question that says determine the total height. That means this one is missing. It's not there. The mean, which is the average, you have it. The total number of players, you have it. But what about it? It's missing. So don't rush. All right. Question number 3.2. Rugby is arguably one of the most body type inclusive sports. Unlike long distance running or bodybuilding, whatever shape you are, there is a place for you in the rugby field. Annexure D shows the two box and whisker diagrams comparing the weight of the New Zealand and South African rugby teams. Use the box and whiskers diagram in Annexure D to answer the following questions. The 5-point summary for New Zealand is as follows. Okay, this is the 5 point. So the 5 point usually you should start with the minimum, followed by Q1, Q2, Q3, and it should end with a maximum. This is the 5. But this one is not organized, but still it has. Because minimum 1, Q2, 2, Q2, 3, Q3, 4, maximum 5. All right, it's 5. Okay. If the interquartile range equals 225 kg, determine the value for A, which is Q1. Now, in your head, the moment you hear of interquartile range, what comes in your head? It was interquartile range. It was determined by taking the upper quartile Q3 minus Q1. So simply meaning, if you have the interquartile range, which is 25, put it there. You have Q3, which is 113, minus A, which is missing. Should give us the answer. So what we're going to do now, this we continue. The A jumps over the ridge. It goes where 25 is, and 25 comes inside. So A will become 113 minus 25. So the value of A became, the value of A became 88. The value of A became 88. The value of A became 88. Okay. 3.2, 3.2.2. Which one of the following terms best describes the data displayed in the box and whiskers diagram? Let's go there and we see the box and whiskers diagram. The box and whiskers diagram, here we go. Which of the following best describes? I know it's weight. Then, okay, it's weight, whereby it has to be continuous because weight is measurable. But the data that we see here, we don't have commas. These are all numbers. That means it becomes what? Discrete. However, in the normal sense, both answers are right, né? Because you would say this discrete, whereby you say because there are all numbers, all values. But then someone would have said continuous because it becomes correct because of the reason. Because it's weight, and weight is what? Weight is measurable. So it's measured. Remember we said here it only becomes discrete because we see all numbers. But it's not because we can't count weight, we measure weight. Then we can say it's continuous because it's measurable. We measure to get the value of weight. All right? So both answers would be right according to your answering and the reasoning. The box and whisker diagram compare the weight. The box and whisker diagrams compare the weight between New Zealand and the South African rugby players. What term is used to define a value? Take note of that. A value that is far apart from other values. I usually say, or I usually call them weird numbers. The weird numbers, we call them outliers. That's the term that we use. The values that are awkward, the values that are far away from each other, from most of the data values, then they become outliers. According to the international statistics, there is a great difference between salaries paid to soccer players and rugby players. And next year, it shows information on salaries paid to famous rugby players and soccer players in different currencies. Use the information in Annexure E to answer the following questions. Neymar Jr. and Cristiano Ronaldo are two of the most famous players in the world of football. Convert Cristiano Ronaldo's yearly salary to rands. First and foremost, we need to go and we see their next year. Sorry, these are questions. Here we are. So they want us to convert this. These are euros. They want them to be converted to rands. So it's 35 million euros. So we convert them to rands. This is what they want. Convert Cristiano Ronaldo's yearly salary to rands. So if he gets this much, this is what he gets. And in the scenario here, they are telling you, if you only have €1, you have an equivalence of 20.05 cents. You have equivalent of 20 rands. So we shall come here and multiply by 20. So 35 million times 20.5. So we end up having the answer as we end up having 717,500,000 rands. Okay. Determine the median. Determine the median annual salary in millions of the given 5 world famous rugby players provided. Now, the first thing you're going to do, the moment you hear the word median, arrange and look for the middle value. Arrange and look for the middle value. So we come there and we see, here we go. We have 5 of them. These are the ones that we're looking at. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the values are in rands. Thank God. We don't need to convert anything, but we need to arrange. So which one is the lowest? We have these two. 1, 2, followed by 3, then 4, eventually we have 5. So in that order, this is how we're going to arrange them. So it becomes so we have it as 20. Don't expand them, leave them the way they are. We know they are million. Now if you get your final answer, you write the word million. That will be fine. All right, we get the values like this. So there are 5 of them. So the middle number, simply meaning you're going to remain with 2 on one side and 2 this other side. So the median is, don't forget, these are rands, and put the word what? Million, because you're dealing with million. Leave it like this. Don't try to expand anything. As long as you include the word, unless when they told you to give it in values, but you can leave it the way it is. Okay. 3.3. Write down the annual salary of Ronaldo to annual salary of C in ratio form and simplify it as follows. So simple. Since one is on this other side, that means okay. First and foremost, those ones who don't know how we deal with the ratios, you write the words. Now we need Ronaldo's on the left and the C's on the right. So remember, already C's, it's in rands. So we shall also pick Ronaldo's also in rands because they have to be the same values. Remember what we got for Ronaldo here. Remember the value that we got for Ronaldo, which was 700, this one here. This is the value that we are going to use. We shall say 717,500,000 is to C here. We saw it already. It's already C here. It's already C here. It's just here. 35 million. So we shall divide through by 35 million. So here we can divide through. How many zeros can die with each other? Because we need a 1 this side. We shall divide through by this. That goes with that. You remain with a 1. In this other side, we remain with 717 divided by 35 0. Remain with the. This simply they said, hence explain the meaning of the calculated ratio. Simply meaning Ronaldo gets gets 20.5 times more than C. That's what it simply means. For 1 rand that Sia gets, Ronaldo gets 20 rand. It's 20 times 20 rand and a half. Sorry, 20 rand and a half, which is 20 times and a half more. All right, we look at question number 4.1. Think power, and Barbie movies. Breaks record match and 9 sell out. The movies shattered this year, books were rather up the weekend, and we are looking at this. These are the values we're looking at. These were the ticket of sale. The film had 145 million budget backed by, okay, even before the movie was. These are just stories. Just read through. All right. Read through the stories and you get what they're talking about. I'm highlighting the values that we have there. This is March and this is okay. This is it. What I want you to identify is now these values are even before the movie was released, the matches sold out. For example, the Barbie tumblers at $19.99. Then the blanket sold at $22.99. These were dollars. These merchandise items are currently on back order until June 2024 and are now selling on eBay for around $77 and $125 respectively. Okay, here we go. Write a formula for profit in a given context. Now, this is so simple. Profit will always be profit. So what you have to do is to say profit equals to the selling price minus the cost price. That's how we shall get it. Of a given item. Now, in this context where we are looking at the tumbler, the Barbie tumbler, and the blanket that we are looking at, the profit. They are saying write down the formula. So we go, determine the amount of profit in the rands that made by eBay user selling the Barbie blanket in a bag. So now here we go. At the moment, it's at, take note, it's selling at how much? 125. Yet here initially it was at what? So how much profit is it being made? So we shall say 125 minus $22. So you get your answer there, 125 minus 22. So here the profit is these are dollars. Remember they said profit in rands. So we need to change the dollars to rands. What do we do? $1 is equivalent to 18. What we do, we multiply by 18, comma. The answer became 1,872. One thousand 1,872 rands 90 cents. That's a profit there. Verify with calculations that if Barbie movie made a revenue of 125 million worldwide during the opening weekend with a profit margin of 60%, the expenses for the opening weekend amount, sorry, opening weekend amounted to 50 million. Another thing I will always remind you, please don't forget in expanding these values. Leave them the way they are. All we are interested in is substitution. Now, what do we have? We have revenue. It's this much. We already have it. 60% is the profit margin in a percentage format. Profit margin. So we've got revenue. What are we looking for? We're approving the expense was this much. So some people would have done this 120 minus 50 over 120 times 100. This would also work for those. And if you get the answer as then, because you approve it, verify using calculation that Rugby will be able to say anything. So you end up saying what? It's valid. Why is it invalid? Once you put your expense into the formula, you ended up also having what? 60 as the got. Someone else would have done this way. Another method, you would have learn how to substitute. What's missing? What is missing, and you have to know what's missing there. Anyway, this one here, it needs a little bit of the mathematical rule. This one involves mathematical. Okay, profit margin. So it's profit margin 60 equals revenue 1. Remember, I told you don't put the word, don't expand the values, minus the expense. So in this case, we say we don't know the expense, we leave a gap there over the revenue times what? 100. What am I doing? I want to say, because here they say, verify with calculations that if Rugby movie made a revenue of this much worldwide during the opening weekend with a profit of 60%, the expenses for opening. So we are proving that the expenses for opening weekend amounted to 50. This is what we are proving. So the answer we get here is supposed to be 50. So what are we going to do? So this is already in brackets, leave it in brackets. But what you do, you multiply with 120, in that this 120 disappears, all right? Because we multiply on both sides. On both sides, what you do at home, you do at school. So with this goes with that. So we remain with 125 times 60. Here on this other side, remain with 7,500 equals. Now in this bracket here, big bracket, we are left with this times 100. So because we are dividing, because we have multiplied by 100 here, so also here divide through by 100, divide through by 100. This 100 goes with that. This goes with this, so remaining with 75. You see that equals to 125 minus the box, which we are proving. The box represents the box is representing expenses. So if the box crosses over and the 75 comes inside, that will be the box equals to 125 minus 75. The answer becomes 50. The answer becomes 50. And this is what we are proving. So this one needs a little bit of concentration. It needs a little bit of concentration. .2. The graph below indicates the age groups that watched Rugby movie. We have 40 plus, 30 to 39, 23 to 29, 13 to 22. The GZ population in South Africa is estimated to be 21 million people. Of these, but 47% watched Rugby movie at estimated cost of 75 per ticket for a regular 2D movie. Calculate the total gross income made from So now take note. How many watched? 47% of 21 million. So you need to first look for those people. So all you're going to do, 0.47. 0.47 comes from 47%. When you divide this, you end up having this. I don't want a fraction, so that's why I'm using this, times the number of people. You see that? Again, times the money they generated. So we see this. The reason why I'm doing this, we end up having the answer as end up having that much answer. Okay, the total gross income made from the, so this is how much they got, which was 740,250,000 rands. What is the probability? What's the probability of a 2-year-old going to movies, watch the popular Barbie movie? Now, what's the probability? Here, we see we don't have any age there. So here we shall end up saying it's 0. Oh, it's impossible. Okay, it's 0. Yes, it's 0. Some other people said it's impossible. The moment you say impossible, you're looking at likelihood. We are looking at probability. Some others said 0%, which is okay. Okay, we look at 4.3. At the movies, you have the option to buy ice cream before watching the Barbie movie. Below is a tree diagram illustrating the flavors with toppings and possible outcomes. All right. So this bracket, the first leg here, these are the ice creams. Then the toppings are here. And the possible outcomes. So this is, how did they come up with this? They took vanilla, nuts. So here is supposed to be vanilla, and sprinkles. Vanilla and sprinkles. Okay. Write down the possible, look at me. Write down the possible outcome of we are saying is what? Vanilla, and followed by what? That was supposed to be the answer there. Write down the probability as a decimal fraction that you will choose chocolate ice. That you will choose chocolate ice cream with nuts. Round off your answer. Decimal places. First and foremost, how many options do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Out of these 6, how many are chocolate and nuts? We only have 1. So we are looking, should you choose chocolate, ice cream, and nuts? So it's 1 out of 6. So 1 out of 6, it gives you 0.1667. Continuing, but they said round off to 2 decimal places. So we need to stop here. It will be